What would it mean if you could 10x your client numbers and run your business like a true CEO? Today, I'm giving away something insane, which is a 1-hour training with 4 of our biggest clients on 7-figure scaling systems. They all individually run 7-figure empires I've helped them build: Simon Johnson, JJ, Dave Kennedy, and Harry Knight. And they're gonna break down in 15 minutes each content strategies, how to book more calls, how to run your business like a CEO, and how to build the habits to crush your business. If you want to scale your business, this is a video you need to watch. Make sure you have a pen and paper, and make sure you smash the like button as you go through this video, and drop in the comments your biggest takeaway. Now let's get into the video. Now in this section, Simon Johnson, who's crushing it in his business, just break down the exact metrics you need to use in terms of how to scale your business using KPIs around call setting and messaging. If you're not tracking your reply rate, how many outbounds you're sending, your follow-up messages, and all of these metrics, you're just guessing. He also shared the exact frameworks that we've given to him in terms of how to get high responses from clients, like, did you get eaten by a crocodile? The more you can add humoring into messaging, the higher the response rate you're gonna get, and the more personalization you can add in, the higher the response rate you're gonna get. The number one thing you have to remember is we are talking to human beings, not clients, so you need to add personalization, customization, and also add some flair.
What I'll run through today is just very simply just how to dominate DMs and book more calls. This has literally been my core focus for the last 12 months, to the point where we're now booking enough calls. It's now just sorting out the sales because I can't do them myself. But we've all heard Charlie bang on about this more than we can ever imagine, okay? The 2 main things you have to do when you're looking to scale a business: book calls, close calls. But the reality is that a lot of us don't actually even think about is you can't close unless you book, okay? So let's go through exactly how we can master this and actually understand the KPIs so that you can, 1, book more calls, 2, is actually remove the emotion from business, okay? I heard an amazing quote, I think it was probably 18 months ago, and it was, you're not a fitness business, you're a business that sells fitness, okay? So start running your coaching company like a business, so you have to understand your KPIs. If you understand your KPIs, it means that you can actually scale confidently because it doesn't become guesswork, it simply becomes maths. So the question now becomes, what actually are the KPI numbers that you need to be understanding, okay? And it's these 5 very, very simply, okay? Number 1 is the actual number of outbound messages that you're sending. What's the reply rate that you're getting to these? What's the conversion of the amount of people that reply that you actually send a link to, okay? How many of those people you actually send a link to book a call? And then the overall one to actually see if you are shit at DMs or you're actually pretty good is how many people have replied to actually book. Now, I'm going to go through this quickly, obviously, because Charlie said we've got 15 minutes. So make notes, whatever you need to, okay? And if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM as well. So at a quick glance, these are the KPIs that I found work best. I don't know if Charlie would agree, disagree, might be very slightly different for everybody, but reply rate should be above 25%. The reply to link send should be above 15%. The amount of links that you send to conversion to people actually booking calls is above 35. And then how many replies you get to calls being booked should be above 6%, okay? Now, that probably sounds like a lot, so let me actually break it down for people, okay? Now, today we'll cover exactly kind of what each of these are and very simply how to fix it. Because once you can, number 1 is identifying the bottleneck, but number 2 is actually understanding and being able to fix it. Because I think all of us have heard the term KPIs endlessly, but it's in actually knowing what to do to that to be able to actually scale your business. So I wanted to just quickly pre-frame this and saying, like, why is this important? And the proof is in the numbers. So I did a few projections. Now, imagining that everybody could close on average of £1,000 per close, okay, this is what things would look like on a month if you literally just sent 100 outbound messages. You send 3,100 out, you get 775 reply, you book 46 calls, 60% show up, you get 27, you close 13 of them, that'll be 13K new K cash collected. Okay, sounds really simple, right? But when you start scaling this up over time, you do 200 outbound messages, you collect 27.9K, and eventually you get to 300 messages a day, that's nearly 42 grand. Okay, it doesn't quite work in a linear fashion like that. But if there's any more motivation to pay attention and actually understand these numbers, I hope that gives it, okay? So now that we understand it, it's actually how do we implement this? So step 1 is identify the bottleneck. Step 2 is fix the problem, like I mentioned before. We know these KPIs, you have to understand them, you have to know them like the back of your hand, okay? Because then when you can identify the bottleneck, you can do the next thing. And I'm going to run through exactly what each one is, what the problem is, and how you can actually fix it. So the number of outbound messages is very simple. We just have to track it, because if we don't track that, everything works off of that, okay? Big thing here is now reply rate. By definition, this is the percentage of people that actually respond to your outbound message. So if you're not getting 25% of these people to reply, it means that your outbound message is shit, you're not doing enough follow-ups, or you're not contacting your leads quickly enough. Simple, okay? So how do you fix this? One is actually use their name. Don't send big blocks of text, speak to them like a person. I'm going to show you my outbound message in a second. Two is make it a closed question or a this or that. Mine is, how often do you train? It's super easy to reply to. Or, what's the main goal right now? Losing fat or building muscle? It's really easy to reply to. If you send this big, long-winded message of no clear direction, you're just going to get palmed off. Okay? 3 is send more follow-up, and 4 is just message those leads quicker. So, this is my reply rate. So basically, we've been sending this message and it's been getting a 30% reply rate for well over 12 months now. I fucked around with so many different ones, but this is the one that we keep coming back to. It's literally just, hey name, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. How often do you work out? Okay, if they've followed you, they're clearly interested in fitness. So you don't have to beat around the bush. Where are you from?
Simon, could you go into full screen? Presenter mode. I think it just zooms in a bit more. If you go left, that one. Present, there you go. There you go.
Got it?
Ben hasn't got his glasses on, that's why.
Cool. So yeah, is hey name, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. How often do you work out? This has worked so well, okay? Now, to add to this, we actually found just sending that, our reply rate was actually below 25%. But just by adding this follow-up message after it to every single person, okay, we've managed to get this up. And a prime example here, this guy signed up for 1,800 quid last week, and he wouldn't if we hadn't sent this follow-up message. Now, follow-up message is really simple. Some people think this is an automated message, but it's actually me, lol, be epic to hear from. It sounds so stupid, but the amount of money that message has made us over the last 12 months is absolutely ridiculous. And the amount of people that come back and say, oh, sorry, like I did think it was automated. Or people will go, oh, how do I know it's still not automated? I've just got a selfie that I've sent my VAs of me like that, and the VAs just send them that. Okay, and then we're into a conversation. They actually think it's a human being, and you've also taken that little bit of extra effort to follow up. Obviously, next thing from here is actually the reply to link sent. Okay, so this is the number of people that reply to how many people we're actually sending a cool link to. We know that this needs to be above 15%. If you're not hitting this, okay, simply you or your VA is shit at DMs. Simple. Okay, or you're not doing enough follow-up. How much follow-up should you do? Just do more. We do over 2,000 a day. Okay, just do more. And if you say you can't find it, bullshit, find it. Okay. Now, exactly how to improve this, okay, is actually having a call booking framework and use what I call the ACA method, so Malis Hormozi, okay, and also just follow up with every single lead every 24 hours for at least 4 days straight. So, what is the call booking framework? Simply this, okay? Number one, you need a clear goal. That's not just lose fat. That's how much fat do they want to lose? Is there a time frame they're working towards? And if there's not, okay, then that's fine. It's just a lifestyle thing. Number two is a pain point. What's the desire? What's their why? Because they've got a wedding, or they're going on holiday, or they hate the way that they look. You need that. The next thing is a struggle. Okay, what's holding them back? Do they know what to eat? Do they struggle with consistency? Whatever it might be. I imagine this is like a straight line. Okay, and I think so many people go wrong in DMs where they jump all over the place. Okay, don't move on to number 2 until you've got number 1. Don't move on to number 3 until you've got number 2. Move people along a line. It means that you know where you're at in a conversation. It means that the VAs know where you're at in a conversation. Only once you've got those 3 things have you even earned the right to even offer a call. If you haven't got those things, do not even mention it, because you haven't created the future enough pain for them to kind of want to make a change and show them that there's a bottleneck that they need to overcome. At this point, you can pitch the call, and the important thing to think and understand here is you're selling the call, not your coaching. Think, how can I make this a win-win situation for the lead. You have to make it a no-brainer that they want to get on a call. Okay? Who, when they did their first call with Charlie, actually got value from it? Probably everybody. Okay? Because we had to make it an absolute no-brainer to get on that call, and that's what we want to do to our clients. If this sounds like a sales call, the likelihood of the prospect getting on it is going to be very, very low. Okay? Obviously, book the call, confirm the call. Now, the ACA method is something I started teaching to VAs after hearing it off the back of one of Alex Almoti's videos, because we all know VAs can be a little bit useless when it just comes to following a script. So this actually gives them a framework of how we reply to people, how we have a conversation. So number one is we acknowledge exactly what they said. Okay, Charlie, I love that you want to lose 15 pounds. Okay, it's great to hear that you're wanting to get leaner. Compliment them, or we give compassion. Sorry to hear that you've been struggling with this for so long. Okay, in a world where AI is becoming more prevalent and people are more glued onto that, if you can give people compliments and show compassion, you will stand out, and people won't think that it's that. Number three is ask them the question, and that question allows you to move people on through the call booking framework. Okay. Next thing is just follow up. Here's what we do. After 24 hours, just following up from this. 48 hours, all okay, name, did something happen? Compassion, okay? Quite often people will just come back and they'll say, yeah, sorry, I got busy, no worries, carry on booking the call in. After 72 hours, got this from Charlie, did you get eaten by a crocodile? I literally had a lady book a call yesterday. She came back to me and she was like, yes, actually. And I was like, oh, well, you managed to take your phone with you, didn't you? How are your legs? Okay, she was like, oh, I broke them. I was like, no worries, we can train up a body. Are we going to get this call in then? And she got in the call and I've got it in tomorrow. Like, just being a human and having a bit of a laugh of it sometimes works really, really well. And then we added in this one after 4 days. I guess you're not that serious about X goal, make it customized. Okay, I'll drop a guide below, which should help you when you are. This is a bit of like a push and pull. Okay, if you push them, they might lead in. Okay, if not, then guess what? You send them a free guide, ideally around something that they're struggling with, because you also then give yourself an opportunity to follow up with them in a month's time, 2 months' time, 3 months' time. Okay. The other thing to add to this is if anybody replies to you at any point throughout this framework, guess what? It repeats it, just starts over again. So many people follow up once, they get 2 messages through a conversation, and then they just stop following up. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. The number of follow-ups you do is dictated to the income that you make. Now, the amount of links you send to the calls you actually book needs to be above 35%. Really simple. If the problem here is either you've skipped steps in the call booking framework, okay, you haven't actually got a solid pain point or a struggle, you just haven't actually got those 3 big pillars in enough detail, or you've done it properly, or you've just not acted like a human being and you've just acted like a robot. 2 is you're not following up enough, and 3 is that your Calendly might actually be putting people off. Okay, so how do you fix it? Get better at DMs, make sure that the call booking framework's been followed, use the ACA method, make sure you're doing enough follow-up. And the last one is actually just reviewing your Calendly. So we had the issue where we were sending a ridiculous amount of call links, but not actually booking calls. So we adjusted our Calendly to this, okay? This managed to double the conversion to nearly 80% of links being sent to calls being booked without affecting our close rate. The show rate went down very slightly, but we literally over doubled the amount of calls that we were booking. Now, one of the biggest things is just removing like the goal and everything off there. It's already in DMs. You don't need them to type out again before your sales call. You can just go and look at the DMs. It's not that hard, okay? We also actually took the price off of the price qualifier, because if I've got their age, I've got where they live, I've got their job, I can pretty much price qualify anyway, as long as I know that they're in a position to be able to invest into themselves, okay? Now, if you're crammed with calls and you don't have the space, I definitely wouldn't do this at all, okay? But if you've got space for calls, if you lower friction, you'll get more calls, and once you've got enough traction, then you can add more friction over time, okay? Now, this is probably one of the most important ones, particularly if you've got VAs and you actually want to know if you're good or not good at DMs. Okay, you might think you're good, but if you're not hitting this number, you're shifted DMs. Okay, this is like the minimum you should be hitting. Okay, you should be more towards like 8, 9, 10%. Okay, this is just how many replies you get to how many calls you actually book. So if you're not hitting this, you skip steps, you haven't got the pain points, you're not following up enough, the Calendly is putting them off. Okay, if you're not doing this, review all of the KPIs. Okay, make sure that you're actually hitting them. And if you're still not hitting them, you're just shit at DMs and you need to get better. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay. I would review these KPIs every 2 weeks. Okay. If one is off for 1 week, keep an eye on it. If it's off for 2 weeks, at that point I would intervene, because there can always be a bad week. But if something's off for 2 weeks, it's truly showing us that there's actually an issue. So that's it. 15 minutes.
Very well done. If you could maybe share me the Canva doc afterwards, Simon, I'll share it around because I think people might want the numbers and stuff, and that'd be super helpful. So big thank you, Simon. I think you got a ton of value from that.
In this next section, we're going to have Harry Knight show you how he's getting millions of views with his content and filling his inbox with leads organically for free.
I think because Simon did DMs, it's quite good that we can do content because can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, all good.
So this is what I've sort of coined as like the cash collecting content creation framework. Effectively how to make content to bring you a ton of leads, because if we're going to do what Simon said and book the calls in, we obviously want to have a lot of leads in the DMs and in coming through the content as well. So effectively we all know we have to have like a hook, a body and a CTA, but in my opinion, like that's probably not enough. So what I've sort of put together is this framework here where the actual hook itself obviously needs to be catchy, but I like to utilize the struggle and the actual pain that our prospects have that we're going to solve. Then on top of that as well, we need to actually go through like the audience's current mistakes or struggles that they're making. And then the solution is dangling the carrot, and then the hype and the call to action at the end. So that's the framework that I use when I create my content now. And by the way, just on this, probably about 85% of our clients that have come through in the last sort of 6 months have come through either comments for guides or new followers coming through the content. So it's working to a degree. So the actual hook itself, call out the key problem that your leads have. Like we looked at hundreds of our sales calls, and this is something that I'd recommend doing, is just like, look at what your prospects are struggling with at the moment on the calls. And I realized that the majority had like quite a clear problem. It was belly fat, it was love handles, and it was that sort of skinny fat physique. So they had like skinny arms, small chest, but a bit of a belly. And like for me, this is the first, this is me moment. So when they're watching the content, they're going to see this and they go, wow, like I have a belly, I've got belly fat, I've got love handles, I'm a bit skinny fat, I'm going to watch on. So the hook's got to sort of capture this, like the actual sort of person you're trying to talk to. What some examples of this would probably be something like struggling with that stubborn belly fat. Here are 3 things I bet you've tried. Want to lose those annoying love handles, but no matter what you try, they won't go. So that's like the hook. Then we actually look at what they're currently doing wrong. So call out the most common things that people do when they're training or dieting that's going wrong. So we all know like you don't want to be doing like tons of cardio. We need to do some resistance training. It might be they're doing like following a restrictive diet. And then this is the second this is me moment. So they're like watching the first bit, the hook, and they've realized I've got belly fat. I'm doing hours of cardio. So this guy's talking straight to me. Then you want to present like your solution. Now dangle the carrot here because you don't want to give away everything absolutely right at the start. So say what you do instead and say what you'd suggest doing. And then I'd also show a little bit of social proof here of like maybe a result on screen. A little tip here is if like you're filming this with like a videographer and then someone's going to edit it, I'd do 2 copies, one with the social proof and one without, because if it pops off and does super, super well with the social proof, and then you want to put a bit of spend behind it and boost that reel, you need it without the social proof. Just have that copy there as well, ready to go. But don't give away everything just yet. So give 2 out of 3 tips potentially. So your CTA is going to be the final solution. But what I'd say here is something like you need to do 3 to 4 days of resistance training to help speed up your metabolism and make sure you're eating in a moderate calorie deficit. So don't give everything away right away, because your guide is going to be the holy grail. This is going to be everything that they need. So the thing that they're then going to be missing out on is fully explained and broken down in your free guide or training, which they have to comment to receive. Now you can set all the automations up in the back end to make sure that they get the guide and they get that first message. The best message that's working for us right now when someone comments is actually just asking the question like, hey, I saw your comment, did you want me to send the guide? And that just gets them straight into the conversation and you can send it later on. A little bonus tip here, and this is something that we've been doing recently, and it's off the back of sort of what Charlie's been saying a little bit about like the YouTube side of things. If you have the time, I would suggest doing the training actually as a YouTube video, because if you send that to them, they watch it, not only are they going to see more about your personality and who you are, and you can show the sort of the person you are and come across quite well and informative, and they're going to warm to you a little bit more. But also on top of that, they're going to see all the other videos that you've done on your channel as well. It's going to push that out to them. So they're just going to start seeing all of your content there. So I've been doing the trainings now, not just as ebooks, but also as training videos that I upload to YouTube, and then we send that over. Now, obviously that's been what's working for me in terms of like belly fat, love handles, skinny fat physique, but how do you actually find your cash content? So I do the 2x2 rule, and this is something that I do sort of sporadically throughout the year just to see if there's anything else that I need to maybe start talking about. So what I mean by that is 2 reels per day for 2 weeks. So you get 14 reels, but I don't just see it as 14 reels, I see it as 14 opportunities. So if we look at here, like the outcome, I tried to do a drawing here, but it's just terrible. But nonetheless, we've got a video here. Like this is like the banging video. This is the one that's popped off and done super, super well. We've got a painful hook. We've got the audience's current mistakes. We're dangling the carrot, and then we're giving away the free guided training. But if you can make sort of like 10 of these, 10 of these, 10 of these, 10 of these, then you can start like intertwining them and trying to find what actually works and what's going to pop off. Because you might get a really good hook, but then this is shit. Then this one's going to be good, but then this is bad. So you've got to like make more of these and then be able to create the framework that just works super well every single time. So some examples would be like a painful hook would be like talking about belly fat, low energy, low confidence, small arms. Do you get out of breath walking up the stairs? Then their current mistake would be like cardio rather than weights, cutting out carbs, training every single day, no rest, poor sleep. Dangle the carrot, so something like a metabolic ignition system, 4-day busy man training split. This has been crushing for us right now, is like giving away a 4-day split. So like what we've been doing right now is like 3 days, but then plus like a bonus day if you have that extra 45 minutes that you can do, because a lot of our prospects can only train 3 days a week, but sometimes they might be able to get that fourth one in. So this has been crushing it as a lead magnet lately. You give away that free training at the end where like they comment for that particular guide. And then you've obviously got the 14 opportunities that I was talking about. So this then gives you a chance to see what your audience likes, but also what Instagram likes. Because Instagram's going to like what they like and they're going to push it more, but also it's based on sort of your audience, what they're seeing and what they're liking. So there's going to be clear winners here. So you'll begin to find the videos with certain hooks that are doing super, super well, certain struggles that obviously your prospects are starting, they're looking more into and they're seeing like, that's me. And then certain guides and trainings do super well. Like I said, that 4-day split for us right now is absolutely flying. So these are going to be the best performers. But what I would make sure that you do is like, you're not just looking at views here. There's 2 key metrics that we're looking at right now to make sure, like when I then go and create content next week, I'm looking at what's done well this week. And there's the 2 key metrics that I'm talking about. First one is view rate past the first 3 seconds. You can see this in your insights. So this particular reel, for example, had 66% watching past the first 3 seconds, whereas on average, we'd only get like 38%. So if in your insights, look at the sort of the view rate past the 3 seconds, that's going to be one indicator to make sure that you've got a good hook, okay? Next thing that I'd look at is how many followers you actually get off of that post. So we had a video that went pretty viral. This was without sort of boosting it. We got nearly 5,000 followers on the back of one reel. So when you look at that, you're going to see, okay, more people are liking this, more people are actually following me, so they're going to see all of my other content as well. So look at your followers, because then when you find a bit of content that works and gets you more followers, that's when you can start thinking about putting a bit of spend behind it. Because then in theory, if you put a bit of spend behind it, you're going to get cheaper cost per follower as well. So look at your like last 7 reels and see what's got me the most followers, which video. You could then look at putting a bit of spend behind that, but you could also look at optimizing that more based on this framework to then, get that bit of content even better. So they're the 2 key metrics that I'll be looking at. Then ultimately you're going to have like that cash content that you can absolutely rinse. Like I've had people bantering me for months because my content is pretty much the same, where I talk about the same sort of pain points, the same things, but it's because I'm rinsing it because it's doing pretty well. So once you find that using those 14 reels, you're going to find what works for you, then I'll just absolutely rinse it. And then do this process again, maybe 3 months later, and you can find the new thing that you need to talk about. But that's just like a quick sort of framework that I'd use when it comes to actually creating the content. And then hopefully it was somewhat useful. And by the way, if I win 500, it's going behind the bar at Charlie's next event.
Thank you for that, Harry. There was a fucking ton of value in that as well. But the big thing I say there is like Harry's attention to detail with content is really good. And one of the things, the most important skill to have in business is pattern recognition, looking for what's working, what's not, and then you lean in more on what's working. So that was great. Well done, Harry.
So in the second section of this video, Harry broke down the importance of using a painful hook and why you also need to dangle the carrot to get the client to engage. He books a lot of his calls from creating high quality content like that, talking around specific hooks and using similar ones over and over again, like how to lose stubborn belly fat. Now, once you find something that works, like Harry does, you reiterate the same thing, but just try and make a better version of it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, but you first need to find what works for you and hits home, and then try and optimize it. And if you're enjoying this training so far and you want to get more advice exactly like this, I'd like to invite you to book in a free coaching call with us at 7 Figure Scaling Systems to find out exactly how we can help you scale your business. This is an example of the types of knowledge and network you get invited to be around, which will help you get to the next level with your business. So hit the link below this video. You can book in a free call to find out exactly how we can help you. We'll identify the bottlenecks and help you scale. And in the next section of this video, JJ is going to reveal how he's built a world-class coaching business with very low churn, very high standards, and churns out constant, insane results.
So what I'm going to go through is basically a business roadmap that I built for myself, because I want to make sure I'm reflecting all the time. So when I run my business, I kind of categorize it into 8 different sections of the business to basically provide value. So what I've done is I've created a business roadmap to make sure that you're on success with everything. So I'm not just going to discuss one area. I'm going to discuss how can we chase high performance and constantly review the business. So what I'll do is, just for a bonus point, I'm going to send you it all and you can all make a copy if you want to take use of it. What I'll run through first is kind of fix you first. I'll fire that into the chat box. Should we fire it after, Charlie? Yeah?
Drop it in now. And if you change the URL, see where it says edit, if you change that to copy, when people click it, it'll make them make a copy rather than open the document, if that makes sense.
I think I've just changed the viewer, right? I think.
If you just send it to me direct, I'll share it in the chat. Sure.
Sweet. I'll pop it in now, and then you've got it's access only. Perfect. Yeah. Sweet. So back into it. So what I do is I fix you first. So whenever I'm feeling out of line or not feeling in line with my mission, I'll always come back to my mission and my vision for my life and my business. So I've got a 2-page document that sits on my wall that I'll read every single morning. And this is kind of giving me like inspiration, drive, motivation to really like start my day. So if anyone's not got like a vision plan, please get one. Honestly, it will like literally change the way you look at kind of and how you operate day to day. And then ultimately the side of that, like, are you aligned with your values? So like my values are becoming a great coach, providing like world-class service, great results, and documenting that. So whenever I come away from that, it's kind of like, right, I need to be back to where I started. So I still coach a lot of clients and I absolutely love it. It's kind of what I really do. So I make sure that I kind of center everything around that as well. Always assess on like a daily basis, like, are you optimizing across your peak health, performance, and energy? Like, are you showing up the best version you can be for yourself, your clients, but also your team? And when you're not, you'll recognize that. And that's obviously when you're not aligned with your fitness, your health, your nutrition, or even when you're sleeping in, like your routine. This will always have a massive mess up. What I often find is when I'm not making progress in business, it's often to do with me and how I'm operating. So when I've got a great physique and I've got great confidence, I operate at a completely different level. And then again, like, do you have limiting beliefs? Like, this is something that I did a lot of mindset work around. Is like, I had a big fear of like charging money, and I was scared of failure for like many, many years. I worked with TMP for quite some time. So if you have got limiting beliefs around money or how you show up, it will have a massive impact on how you operate, on the frequency that you operate at day to day. Is your environment around you? That's why I moved to Dubai. So like my location and who I'm friends with now is very different to what it once was. My friends used to take drugs, go out every weekend. It wasn't the right environment for me. So when I came away from that and changed, it completely changed my trajectory in life. The one thing I'll say is like, are the people around you supportive? Even like your relationship, is that conducive towards making progress? And if it is, amazing. But if it's not, change your environment. And then just skills as well. Like one thing you'll go through and why you're working with Charlie is because you want to master these skills from marketing, sales, leadership. Are you learning yourself from a coaching standpoint? I see so many coaches that come into the industry and literally just focus on marketing, sales. Like, are you actually a good coach? Are you getting great results? Because if you're not, how are you ever going to be able to keep clients long term? And that's what I'll always say. The second thing that I'm going to come on to, which I'm really passionate about, is coaching delivery. So what I measure my business on is churn percentage, like how many clients are leaving each month. If you're not tracking this, it's a metric that literally is like how you can literally like double your business overnight. Over the next 6 months, if you reduce your churn percentage from, let's say 12% to 6%, you need to sign up half the amount of clients and to make like the same amount of progress. So what I would urge everyone to do is, if they're not tracking it, track your churn percentage every single month. And how you work that out is how many clients left this month and how many total clients did you have at the start, and then you divide that together. That is like the key that you want to be tracking every single month. do you have like a systemized onboarding process? So like every single client, do they get the same level of service? So what we have from a coaching standpoint is we have an SOP, 22-page document that all my coaches will follow and myself, that we all make sure we abide by and we literally stick to like a Bible. I call it the JH Transformations Coaching Bible because we have to stick to it to make sure we onboard clients properly and deliver the level of service as well. Every single member of my team has KPIs. So like, I've had to change, and Charlie will know this, a lot of my team members over the past year, which has kind of stopped me from scaling as fast because I wasn't happy with the team, the system. So what I would always encourage you to do is, are you measuring your team on KPIs? Like, so do your coaches have, transformation targets? Do they have retention percentages, churn percentages? All these things that, again, are going to have massive. Do your setters have outbound targets, reply rates, everything like this that's going to have a massive impact on your business scalability? And then like my business is big on community. So like I run photo shoots 6 times a year as a business across the UK. We pay for it all as a business. It costs me thousands each year and burns a hole in my pocket. But most of my client base, honestly, is referrals. And that's kind of what I've really pushed from the beginning, is like world-class service, amazing community, and really be able to drive that forward. So if you're not running like team events, photo shoots, I would massively encourage you to do it as well. It's absolutely huge. The third thing is sales. Now, this is something I've had a love-hate relationship with since coming into it, because I come from more of a training background, but I've had to really learn to kind of get over this. Work with a couple of different people now on sales. It's something I really begin to love. And I've really been able to like scale my business over the last year because I've been working with Charlie and learning how to sell properly, presenting pitch decks. And one thing I always used to do, honestly, is charge monthly. It's something that was never scalable for me. I had a few hundred clients at, £200 a month. It just wasn't scalable. But with the price point now, like make sure you are charging up front. Like it probably is like scary initially when you do it, but now we charge like 2K for 6 months, 3K for the year, what we've just moved up to. My cash collected this month in comparison to 3 months ago is literally like, 50% higher because of my offer. And like Charlie's been getting me to do this since day one. It's like charge more. And I am shit scared of charging more, I'll be honest. But like you have to do it. If you want to earn money, you want to scale your business, you have to charge up front. And it's something I really, really struggle to. And if you're not good at sales, train yourself on sales, review your sales calls. I have a closer now that I will review sales calls for every single day. The magic numbers you want to work towards in sales are these. So like show up rate, I aim for like 60%, but it can be like 50 to 60, I'll be honest. And close rate, I aim for 50 to 55. If you're doing better than that, I would increase your price. I promise you, like I guarantee a lot of you are probably closing higher. Just increase your price point. If you can get 50% of people to pay more money, you will need a lot less clients to scale your business. A lot easier. And then do you have like follow-up processes in place? Like for all leads that come into the business, like do a sales call, do you follow up? Like this is something that I see not done very well. Even myself is like, I didn't used to follow up with leads. Like if I had a call, it'd be gone, would never follow up. I guarantee 4 weeks down the line, if you have a CRM and a sales process with email automation in place, you structure it out properly, you will get people to sign back up. Because now, no doesn't always mean never. It always means I might sign up down the line. So make sure you are constantly following up with leads. Take a breath. Lead generation. Okay, so just with this one, like with generating leads, I see this honestly as like, are you aligned with your niche and enjoy coaching them? Like I've always been big on the certain type of person I want to coach has to actually enjoy training. I actually have to enjoy coaching them because when they're in my business, my culture is so important for my clients, for everyone in my coaches. If I don't enjoy coaching a client and they're not right for me, I probably wouldn't take them on, right? Because ultimately your culture is so important and that's what breeds results. My coaches know that they have to produce the level of results that they need, so we're never ever short of leads. Most of the transformations that we do is when people come onto our page and we do the boosted posts and come onto it. If they land on your page and you have shitloads of results, why would they not message you back? If you come onto your page and you have 0 results, your content's poor, why would anyone ever message? So it's all good saying, let's send out like 500, 600 DMs, but why would somebody reply to you? Are you in great shape? Do you have great results? Do you lead as an authority? This is a really key thing. And then like when a lead comes into your world, what do you do for the first 30 days of bringing them in? Like, are you building relationships? Are you sending out free guides? Are you sending out like a VSL, video sales letter, in the DMs in the first 30 days? Like, I always think like if you can build a great relationship initially when somebody comes on, they get onto your podcast, they listen to your YouTube if you've got YouTube. Imagine how much of a relationship that's going to have and how much that could eventually spring into something if you started well. Again, like once you've messaged that lead, they're probably not going to sign up off the bat. They might, but down the line, if you can leave them with loads of free value, why would they not message you back down the line? Okay, content I'm going to keep pretty brief because I think Harry smashed it. So I generally try and produce 3 layers of content. I do value-based, so I do my training stuff, more so what I enjoy. Connection-based stuff, which is more about me, my own personal journey. And then third one is social proof. I'm really big on social proof. So I at least do 2 transformations a week as a brand to make sure we have our constant message going out. One thing that I've really learned to get good at recently, because I'm not the best at content, I try my best, is like learning how you can leverage AI to create content. So Charlie was teaching me how to use like Claude AI. That's been absolutely amazing. Charlie gets your scripts sent across to him. They have been fantastic for me to be able to scale my short form content. I can literally script, 20, 30 reels out in the space of a few hours now. So like I would really leverage AI to help you do this as well. Lead magnets, put them on your stories like 1 to 2 times a week. DM me the word keyword, absolutely amazing. And then once you are in like a sales push, so like towards the back end of the month, direct hard CTAs. Let your stories run dry for like 24 hours. Put your best transformation up. I'm looking for X amount of people who want to get in an amazing shape. DM me the word X. That's how you're going to literally drive your business forward. But make sure you use it with social proof as well. Your very, very best social proof when you do it. And then other things to consider are obviously just short form, medium form, long form. Think about like how can you now navigate all your leads that come in through the funnel through this process as much as you possibly can. Another thing that I'll quickly touch on is like speak on as many podcasts as you can. Like you want to build authority in the industry. Like the best thing that ultimately, like when people come into my world, they say like, oh, I've seen you work with X coach, or you spoke on this podcast, or you've been on this YouTube video. Like this are all really important that I think a lot of people forget. It's not just about short form content or being online, like how you come across. Like I've actually had the pleasure now of speaking on 3 stages. I never thought that would be possible, but any chance you get to speak on stage, do an event, become an authority in the space is what I want to be known for. Is I want to have an amazing reputation in the industry and be known for helping people, but also, give as much as you possibly can. So if you do get the opportunity to speak on podcasts or doing your own podcast or, put value out, the more people get to know you, especially on other people's platforms, it's really, really important for overall building your level of authority. Okay, messaging conversations, last 2 guys, so bear with me. So what we would generally aim to do as a business now, and it's actually a little bit more than this, is we actually aim for like 300 new outbound a day as a business. My setters will generally do a total outbound of around 900 messages, and our KPI is to book between 6 to 9 calls per day. Response rate, you want to be aiming for around 30% minimum to the first message. The best message that we have at the minute is just doing a bit of research on the audience. Do you mind if I ask if you're based in the UK? Like response rate to that is like so high. It opens up the conversation, and then we'll generally ask the job after once they've given the city. That way you can financially qualify like in the first 2 or 3 messages, and your setters are a lot more effective with what they do. Conversations and book calls. So like if you can create, my KPI at the minute is to create 100 conversations. So my goal every single day for this month is to book 10 calls a day. I know if I have roughly 100 to 110 conversations, I should book around 10 calls per day, right? Of that, 5 to 6 show up. Of that, I close 2 or 3. So if I can close 2 or 3 sales a day, you're laughing, right? So like think about your KPI like this. One thing I've been really big on with my setters is response time. Like we set a KPI now response time of 2 minutes. Since we did that, the level of bookings this month has gone up massively. What we also do is when we're in the earlier stages of our setters is we get them to do a Google Meet screen share the entire time on shift. We mute the tab, and then what I can do is check their performance. So if the response time's slow, the setter thinks that I'm looking at them all the time. Obviously, I'm on Zoom, I'm on calls, I'm talking through people, but because I can see the setter screen on a Google Meet, I can see exactly what's going on. That will literally change the game with you. I promise you, if you literally double down on your setters and give them the service that they need, they will blow your business up. We have a meeting every single day for 45 minutes, every single day at 1:30, where I will review all KPIs. I'll go through all the messages. They'll bring to me a conversation that they booked successfully, 1 that they couldn't book, and 2 that they generally had a challenge with. if you can constantly do that every single day with your setters, they will scale massively. And then be honest, like, are your setters good enough to hit the KPI? If they're not hitting the outbound, they generally don't, obviously, they don't have enough leads, for one, potentially. Do they have enough leads? If you're running ads, and imagine you have an endless amount of leads. Second one is like, are they hitting book calls? Are they hitting response rates? Are they being trained enough to be able to hit that? And if they are, and you're doing everything you can, just change the setter. I've been through 11 setters now. I think in the last 4 or 5 years, like, you would cycle through setters for fun. I had my best one for 3.5 years. You'll have an amazing one come in. They get offered another role for a closing role and they're gone. Like, you'll have somebody come in for literally a month and they'll be out because they didn't enjoy it. Like, it's such a high churn job. You have to just go through it and like learn to just be okay with that. Like, sales roles are something that's quite transactional. So yes, you might get a really good one, but you can't always guarantee they're going to be there forever. So I would just be aware that you're going to have to hire, you're going to have to recruit a lot more as well. The last thing that I'll cover is ads. So like, there's no excuse for low lead flow. Like, I'll be honest, I have barely run any ads up until now. Like, this is the first month I've increased my ad spend. Like, Charlie's always told me off at this. I was spending like 2 or 3 grand on ads. Like, this month I've spent probably like coming up to 10 grand on ads, and we've seen a massive return. So I honestly think if I'd have done this and I've been brave enough before, because I've had a positive ROI, but last month I made a 4x return on my ads. I spent 3K on ads and I got 12 grand back. If I'd have spent 10 grand on ads, I would have got 40 grand back, hypothetically. So like, be braver. Like, if you don't have enough lead flow, spend 10 to 15% of your revenue on ads. It's only going to come back down the line. Start with boosting your best organic content. And what you want to do is you want to track 2 KPIs, all right? Track your spend and track the number of new followers per day. If you can aim to hit around £1 or under or just over, but you're consistently booking calls, you're laughing. All right, you are, but you ultimately want to track return on ad spend. It's okay having followers for £1, £1.50, but are the ads profitable? All right, is the ad that you're running bringing in good enough quality leads where you can converse with them to book them in for a call? Generally, what we're acquiring customers for at the minute, it's a little bit more this month because we spent a bit more. It's around about $350 per acquisition of a client. Generally, that's kind of the numbers that we're working from at the minute to acquire ads. And I was spending 3 grand a month on ads. This month I've gone right up. So whatever your kind of, revenue is per month, try and do around 10%. And that's kind of what I would say. The last thing on ads is that we have done a little bit from time to time is like retarget intent-based ads to your Instagram engagers. One thing that we did do well was we literally put a picture of me and a picture of one of my best transformations. Literally a picture of me and the client, and we did a DM ad that had very, very good cost per message on to our direct hot engager audience. Okay, I think that's my 15 minutes, Charlie. Try to wrap that up as fast as I could.
That was fucking great. Well done. That was there's a ton of value from there. Everyone took a load of value in that. Drop a thank you to JJ in the chat.
So Adrian, we just bumped into randomly in the marina. He always sees me filming. So I thought I'd invite him into the video. He was also just saying how good the 50,000 sales call video was and helped him close more calls. What was your feedback on the video training last night?
Success leaves clues, and that I'm capable of making the same changes as the guys once they have a right strategy and self-belief.
What would you say for anyone who's sitting on the fence whether they should book in a call from watching this video and the value of it?
Yeah, I was on the fence too when I started, I'm not going to lie, but honestly, it's been the best investment I've ever made in myself. You can pay 2 ways. You can pay in money, you can pay in time, and I'd always rather pay down my ignorance tax and pay in money first rather than in time. So that's what I'd say. 100%. Book a call at least of the team. You've nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Thank you, appreciate it. Now that may well seem like it was pre-arranged, but the reality is I just bumped into Adrian and saw him walking past outside the Akai spot in Dubai. And this is one of the best things when you live in this area and live in Dubai is we have an insane network here and have a very close relationship with the clients we work with. And you can see from Adrian, his business has absolutely crushed it since working with us, which is proof in the pudding. And the big takeaway he actually got from the call last night was actually specifically from JJ in terms of how to be a leader, how to set the organizational team, which is why JJ's training was so good because he holds very high standards across the board and isn't willing to accept mediocrity, which is what we do at 7-Figure Scaling Systems with all our clients, is we push you to a high level that you didn't even know you were capable of. Now, the next training we have is with Dave Kennedy. So Dave's background, he was originally worked with us and he came to us, I think he was making 15K a month in November 2023. November 2024, he did 150K a month. Added a 0 onto that. He works specifically with farmers in Ireland, has a wild mindset, and will give you some insight in terms of what it really takes to 10x your business.
Fortunately, straight off the bat, lads, the biggest thing I've learned over the last couple of years, you need to walk before you can run. It's great being able to hear advice from lads doing really big months, and if you're not at that stage just yet, you have to build out the spider's web firstly. This is something Charlie always used to say to me, because I was like, go, go, go. And he's like, you need to build the foundations firstly. So it's very, very important to build in foundations. So he asked me before, if you took on 100 clients in the month, could you handle it? You know, and it's a simple yes, no answer. So if you want to prepare to build yourself for a big month and be able to handle that, you have to build that spider's web. If not, the web will break. So firstly is being able to always plan ahead. So I'll give you a perfect example from our own situation right now. We have 5 coaches right now. We're bringing in a 6th coach. Our new coach only has 20 clients. But we're bringing in a new coach because we're going to take on 80 to 100 clients this month to next month. So you have to be able to cater for that, because exactly like Jack said, I missed what Harry said, but you have to cater for that service. The service can never be dwindled, and that's the most important. Now, I think the biggest thing for myself and anyone that will be able to relate here and resonate is niche. You know, I went over a full niche change, as you know, this year, and it's only since February we changed our niche to farming country, because we done a review on our clients and most of them were farming country people, right? So like, okay, we'll go all in it. So if you have a story and there's something that's you have purpose and is aligned to you, go all in it, because you'll surprise yourself. And that's the biggest thing for ourselves, because anyone that has seen my content, see what me and Mike do, you won't see anyone else doing it. Not yet anyway. People will follow copy soon, but we'll have to be number 1 before that. But the reality of it is go all in that and don't give a fuck what people think. Don't give a fuck what everyone else is doing, because the problem with the fitness industry, everyone's doing the fucking same thing. Right? So you can't, they're all painted with the same brush. And that's what we get heard. We hear an awful lot, right? So in terms of content, while we're on top of it, content is the most important thing. You know, I would have taught exactly like Jack before that social proof is, I would have put social proof down. I have content, I have value and good quality content. I don't even have social proof down anymore, which is crazy, right? Because we don't need it. It's crazy, right? If you have good content and you're really talking to that person that you're working with all the time, then people are constantly going to come to you. Like I'll put my hand up and say, we don't work with bodybuilders. We don't work with female fitness models. I'll say that, you know, and imagine that if you put that in your shoes and you're someone that wants to work not with a bodybuilder or a fitness coach, etc. They're like, fuck, he's the guy for me, right? So you're really tying yourself down to that one person. And that one person is going to build so much trust with you, it's just a no-brainer for them to sign up. They can't but sign up, right? So in terms of that, really, really good content. And in terms of a strategy then, so what we do in terms of boosting, right? We use a boosting strategy. We review all our content. So we post twice a day, a value post at 12 o'clock, and basically a growth post at 5 o'clock. And we review that every day. When we see one that's doing really, really well, we boost that straight off the bat, and we boost it to our target market, our target audience, only to call to visit profile, right? We don't do DMs, any of that stuff, just visit profile all the time, and the followers come in. Now, this might sound mad, right? But you need to fucking give up sending call booking links. Fucking bin it, right? You need to, exactly like Jack said, train your setters every fucking day, so you can actually pre-handle and pre-qualify everybody. That if you're working with a farmer, or you're working with a woman, a single mom, or working with a 30-year-old that has 2 kids that's just trying to save for a mortgage, you need to train your setters of who's actually able to qualify. They're booking the call for you. So the training, like Jack said, every day is essential. We do it every Thursday. We do our team call every Thursday, and we do our sales call every Thursday. 3 calls every Thursday for our team every day, for our setters and for our sales. They have to know you inside out, right? And the difference is, if you're sending call booking links, you're leaving money on the table. You need to say, hey, Charlie, I'm free tomorrow. I have an opening at 8 o'clock in the morning, I have 5 o'clock in the evening. What time suits you? 5 o'clock, boom, he's booked. Like, you need to have them booked. And the only way you're going to keep the show up rate in a really, really good place is the messages, the consistency of the messages, the emails coming out, and being able to follow up that morning confirming. So we do all that every day, right? Now, secondly, I have only 2 setters, right? Mike is a setter on his page, I have a setter on my page. That's it. We have one VA. So the VA does our opening messages. So we've built up our page, and I've said this to the CEO guys, I said to everyone and asked me, to be honest, we built up our page without getting blocked to 400 new followers every day. We can message 400 new followers every day. We do 1,600 follow-ups on top of that every day as well, spaced out over 3 times a day. So we send out 2,000 messages a day. We book about 13 to 17 or 18 calls a day, right? With a show-up rate of probably 80%, to be quite honest with you. Now, how it works is our VA does all the opening messages and he does all the follow-ups. That's all he does, right? Our setter comes in then and starts the conversation. That's all our setter does. He concentrates and books the calls. That's all he does. Now, it's a really, really good system because it doesn't put anyone under too much strain. You know how much time it takes to send 400 new messages to someone and send 1,600 follow-ups. It's fucking ball ache. It takes up too much time. Setter doesn't need to be doing that. He needs bandwidth to create proper conversation, to be able to pre-object, pre-handle, pre-qualify people to jump on a call. It's so important. So the big thing then in what we do as well in terms of, like, look, we're our sales team, etc., and this will work for everyone. It's efficiency is what you need to build here. It's building out that system, that spider web to make your time as easy as possible. And another little point for yourself that will really, really help is a pre-call log. If you have Slack, you're running Slack with your company, create a pre-call log. Use your PA or even your setup or VA does this. Is he'll go down through the conversation and we have structures of what the occupation is. Are they farming? Are they not farming? Are they country? Their kids, are they single? Are they living at home? Like, we go through everything, right? That'll really give us, and where the biggest pain was, when he watched, we have basically a warm-up video that you might have seen, a 10-minute video about my story, etc. What was their reaction to the story? Was it like I'm talking to them? They're exactly like me. So we know where the pain points are. So any of our setters, any of our callers, or if I'm doing the call, I just have to go on. If they called at 1 o'clock, I go on at 5 to 1. I read the pre-call log. I don't have to go through Instagram and read the fucking messages or any of that stuff. You're saving time here. It's all about efficiency. If you want to be able to run, 10 calls a day or 12 calls a day and to be efficient and to try and keep your bandwidth in a really, really good place, you have to create the systems for it, right? Now, I think the biggest thing as well, when you're doing that, it's all about efficiency, like I said. So building out the teams is very, very important. Now, anyone here that's following a process or, has their own way of their chats, you really have to redefine it. So the training every day, like Jacques said, is so important. So I think in terms of content, right, the biggest learning curve for ourselves with content, right, is make sure you're doing something. And look, Charlie's talked an awful lot about this, is people are nosy, lads. They're fucking so nosy. They want to see what you're doing. They want to know what you're doing. You have to do things differently. Like, if I'm fucking doing something in a tractor, you can do something in the fucking house if you have to. Whatever's fucking aligned to yourself, people will just watch it. They're nosy. Look, and I've no doubt in my mind, people are looking at the machinery instead of what we're saying. Then they start clicking to what we're saying. Like, oh fuck, this guy's talking sense here. And then they actually buy in. And that's the difference, is one of the most important things. Now, as well as that, you have to really try and bring in a really strong community, right? So, look, we've close to 400 clients right now. Churn rate has to be under 5%. It's like exactly like Jack done the calculation there. Has to stay under 5%. That's down to your clients. That's down to your Bible. Charlie gives everyone out a Bible. And we follow this very similar Bible, right? In terms of your coaches, give them a bonus when they're doing well, super transformations at the end of every month, etc. Whatever it is, it's their job. Now, it's down to the biggest thing I've learned over the last couple of years as well. It's down to what you really want to do as well. As if you're like Jack, for example, and give Jack an example. I'll just listen to them. If you like coaching, right? Fucking, and that's what you love doing, fair, But if you want to bring in more and have more time bandwidth, you have to do more sales, etc., bring in more people, you have to have that bandwidth for that. Now, for ourselves, we're out of coaching. I'm out of coaching, Mike's out of coaching now. Why? Because we're marketing more. Like, it is creating, you're selling fitness. The biggest thing for ourselves now, how can we build out a bigger sales team so we can market more, so I can be out of calls now? That's the next step over the next 3 months. So the more eyes, the more ears around, the more connection you can build, more people will come. And that's the biggest thing. Content is the most important thing, in my opinion, lads, and building out systems for that. It's We've grown over 100,000 followers this year, right? We had to work very, very quickly, as Charlie didn't tell you, like growth coming in, calls, not having coaches, taking on 2 coaches at one time, 3 coaches at one time. It was fucking crazy, right? But you have to be prepared for it. And that was the biggest learning curve I had over the last 12 months, is be able to walk before you can run and have all these systems set up. That's the most important. Now, in terms of like the boosting side of it, I'm the same as Jacques. Probably spending about 3 to 5K. I think the most I spent was in November, it was close to 7K or so. There's a lot of room we can do to improve. Now, in terms of setters, like I think setters can be tricky for a lot of people, and I might be very, very lucky. You know, it depends where your setter is, and it depends what kind of mindset your setter has. I think your team is as good as you. That's the truth of it. Like, you know, your team is as good as you, and you have to show your team the vision and show the team what's actually capable. You know, like even for one of our setters, he wanted to be a closer eventually. It's like, okay, we'll work towards that. We'll build you up to be a closer. But now he's training other setters as well to be as good as him firstly. From his same region, he's Romanian. So he's training another Romanian guy that has a very like mindset as him. That will be, he is as good as him. You know, he's in Mike's page now and he's fucking incredible. And it's an opportunity for them guys. It's an opportunity for them guys because I'll just give you an example. This guy's making 500 a month when he came to us. Like over November, he made 20K or 15 to 20K, something crazy. Like that is just once in a lifetime opportunity type of stuff. He's never going to leave with an opportunity like that, you know? And he loves the business. He bought into us. He's part of the family, really. You have to create a family base and a really, really good culture in your team and in your coaching system. Now, coming to the community side of it, team events, we do coffee walk once a month in the locality. It's so important to create connection. You know, for us, it's more personal development. We're not photo shoots, bodybuilding shows, any of that stuff. You know, it's a little bit different. It's self-improvement, personal development, etc. And just the community is different. The dynamic in farmers is very, very different. And it's creating that these are people that are brand new, or just like myself when I started, you know, like any of us when we started, we didn't know fuck all. And it's creating that culture that you can feel understood in a program is so important. Having events, creating events that you can be a part of it and create community, create friendships, they feel a part of something, it helps their whole journey. And people that create that connection never want to leave. You know, we've clients there, and some of you probably will have clients there that they're over 3-4 years and they just never want to leave, you know, because they value what we do and they want to be part of it more than ever. So in terms of everything else, guys, like that's the most important. And, you know, your environment is so important in terms of a mindset perspective. You know, your environment is so important. You know, people will laugh when they hear this, but most people run to Dubai. I ran from Dubai. I was in Dubai. You know, I done the fucking opposite, right? Why? Because I followed my niche. There's no cows and machinery over in the desert. Like, you know, just don't work. And the reason for me coming home, being in Irish culture, being in Europe, you know, where my niche is what's after changing everything. I had to make a sacrifice. But the most important thing is how you can have a strong mindset around that. So you create your community. So we have a community of like-minded lads around here, a small group. And the biggest thing I've learned is I can be anywhere in the fucking world. As long as I have these guys around me, it doesn't fucking matter. You know? And that's easier said than done for some people in their situations, but take it from me, guys. I'm from a small fucking village in the back arse of nowhere, you know, which, you know what people, English, Irish mindsets are like, small-minded. You know, it can be difficult. So you have to create that culture for you, and that'll be your biggest growth, you know? So, guys, that's my 2 cents. Sorry, it was raw dogged it more than ever, but I hope that helps.
That was awesome. Big thank you, Jacques.
So there, Dave Kennedy broke down exactly what it takes to build a 150K a month coaching business. And throughout this video, we've had 4 of the best online coaches in the world dropping pure gold. Now, what I would like to know is, who do you think gave the most value in this video? Drop it in the comments below. Was it Harry, Simon, JJ, or Dave? And if you want help in terms of scaling your business and access to this type of information every day, every week to take you to the next level, the number one thing you're paying right now is ignorance tax. To pay that tax down, hit the link below this video, book in a free coaching call, find out exactly how we can help you get to where you want to be, and remove the bottlenecks in your way. So hit the link below now, book in a free call. And if you took value from the video, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next video very soon.